Hello everyone. They say love doesn't follow rules, not of age, timing, or expectation. Sometimes, a connection appears where no one expects it, and when it does, it can change lives in unpredictable ways. Today, we have prepared something special for you. Our list of the top 10 films from 2022 and 2023 that explore relationships between mature women and younger men. From light-hearted comedies to intense psychological dramas, these stories dive deep into desire, power, and emotional boundaries. Let's start with a film that sent shockwaves through audiences, May December from 2023. Inspired by a real-life controversy from the 1990s, this film follows Gracie and Joe, a couple whose relationship began under deeply troubling circumstances when he was just a teenager. Decades later, they appear to live a calm suburban life, raising children and running a small baking business. Their fragile peace is disrupted when Elizabeth, an actress, arrives to study Gracie for an upcoming film role. As Elizabeth inserts herself into the family, asking invasive questions and mirroring Gracie's behavior, long-buried tensions begin to surface. Joe, who has lived his entire adult life shaped by someone else's decisions, starts confronting the childhood he never truly had. The result is an unsettling psychological drama that forces viewers to question morality, accountability, and emotional manipulation. It's a masterclass in subtlety and discomfort, anchored by incredible performances from Natalie Portman and Julianne Moore. Next up, a much lighter but still complicated story, The Perfect Find, also from 2023. This film tells a modern story about ambition, attraction, and risk. Jenna, a 40-year-old fashion editor, returns to New York after a public career setback. Swallowing her pride, she accepts a job under her longtime rival, a powerful and ruthless figure in the industry. At a party, she meets a charismatic young man and shares a brief, electric moment, only to discover he's her new co-worker, and even more complicated, her boss's son. Their connection is exciting but dangerous, forcing Jenna to choose between rebuilding her career and following feelings that could cost her everything. It's a stylish melodrama that asks whether personal happiness is worth the price of professional security, all set against the glossy backdrop of the fashion world. Moving into more intense European cinema, we have the French film L'été dernier, known in English as Last Summer, from 2023. At the center of this tense drama is Anne, a highly successful lawyer whose carefully controlled life begins to unravel with the arrival of Theo, her husband's troubled 17-year-old son from a previous marriage. What begins as emotional distance slowly shifts into a forbidden, all-consuming attachment, threatening her family, her reputation, and her very sense of self. The film unflinchingly explores the inner conflict of a woman torn between responsibility and a destructive desire. It is a powerful and disquieting look at the devastating consequences that can follow a single moral misstep, asking difficult questions about agency and transgression without offering easy answers. For a complete change of pace, let us talk about No Hard Feelings from 2023. Jennifer Lawrence delivers a bold comedic performance as Maddie, a woman on the verge of losing everything due to financial trouble in her rapidly gentrifying hometown. Desperate, she responds to an unusual online offer from wealthy helicopter parents who want someone to date their socially awkward, introverted son to help him gain confidence before he heads off to college. What starts as a purely transactional arrangement turns into a series of awkward, hilarious, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. Beneath the outrageous comedy lies a genuinely touching story about loneliness, self-worth, and the unexpected ways people can help each other grow, even when their connection starts from the most bizarre of places. Now for a film that takes a much darker turn. The Spanish drama En los Márgenes, which translates to On the Fringe, released in 2022. While not centered on a romantic relationship, it powerfully explores a dependent connection between an older woman and a younger man born from crisis. The story follows several characters struggling on the edge of society in Madrid. But a key storyline involves a woman on the brink of losing her home. She forms a desperate, intense bond with a young activist lawyer who is trying to help her navigate the brutal bureaucracy. Their relationship isn't about romance, but about a harrowing descent into dependency, control, and emotional fixation fueled by desperation. The film paints a chilling portrait of how societal pressures can transform a helping hand into a suffocating grip. showing how unchecked emotions and power imbalances can lead to destruction. Let's lighten the mood with My Mother's Wedding, a 2023 film that takes a more family-focused approach. Three sisters reunite at their idyllic childhood home for their vibrant mother's third wedding. The celebration becomes complicated when guests, and even some of the daughters, begin questioning the significant age difference between their mother and her new groom. This story focuses less on scandal and more on acceptance. It's about how adult children must sometimes confront their own judgments and biases to understand their parents as individuals. The film explores the idea that happiness doesn't have an expiration date, and that love can and should be celebrated at any stage of life, forcing the characters to learn that their mother's choices are her own. Next, a film that is pure heart and honesty. Good Luck to You, Leo Grande from 2022. Emma Thompson is brilliant as Nancy Stokes, a retired schoolteacher who, after a lifetime of quiet dissatisfaction and a loveless marriage, decides to finally step outside the limits she has always lived within. She hires Leo, a much younger professional companion, to experience the intimacy and connection she feels she's missed. What unfolds in their hotel room is something far deeper than either of them expected. Through a series of meetings filled with open conversation, vulnerability, and genuine humor, Nancy begins to rediscover herself and her own body. This film is a warm, thoughtful, and incredibly humane reminder that personal growth, self-acceptance, and sexual awakening can happen at any stage of life. It's a celebration of courage and communication. From Brazil, we have O Mestre da Fumaça, or The Smoke Master, a wild 2022 martial arts comedy. The story follows two brothers who have inherited a temple and a sacred responsibility to guard a special kind of plant. When a powerful drug lord tries to steal it, one of the brothers, who has been cursed to die if he ever fights again, must find a way to defend his family. He seeks help from an old, legendary master of Smoke Fu, a forgotten martial arts style. This master is a powerful, older woman who takes the young man under her wing. Their relationship is one of mentor and student, but it's packed with comedic tension and a deep respect, turning the typical master-protégé dynamic on its head. It's a unique, action-packed take on the theme. Another powerful international film is the 2023 Korean drama, The Apartment with Two Women. This isn't a romance, but a raw, painful look at a strained mother-daughter relationship that has all the intensity and conflict of a bad love affair. The mother, who sees herself as still young and desirable, constantly belittles her quiet, introverted daughter. Their codependent, almost suffocating life together is thrown into chaos when the daughter begins to find her own voice and a connection with a young man. The film explores the toxic patterns of emotional manipulation and the desperate struggle for independence, showing how a maternal relationship can become a battleground of control and resentment, mirroring the power dynamics often seen in unhealthy romantic relationships. Finally, we have the German film Sonne und Beton, or Sun and Concrete, from 2023. Set in the tough neighborhoods of Berlin in the early 2000s, it follows a group of teenage boys trying to survive a hot, boring summer. After a violent encounter leaves them in debt to a local dealer, they decide to rob their own school. The connection here is with one of the boys' teachers. She is one of the few adults who sees their potential and tries to steer them in the right direction. While their relationship is strictly professional, her role as a mature, guiding figure who stands in stark contrast to their chaotic lives is central to the story. She represents a world of stability and care that is just out of reach, and her influence, however small, highlights the boys' yearning for guidance and a way out. That wraps up today's selection. Each of these films offers a different perspective on connection, choice, and the unpredictable paths relationships can take, whether romantic, familial, or something in between. Which ones have you already seen? And which are going straight onto your watch list tonight? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to explore more carefully curated film collections right here on the channel. Thanks for watching.